Have you ever just stopped and really thought about what it means to be alive? Today, we're going to dive deep into the fundamental jobs that every single living thing, from a tiny blade of grass to you and me, has to do just to survive. These are the core processes that draw the line between life and everything else. So let's get into it. So let's start with a simple question. What's the actual difference between you and, a rock? I know, it sounds super obvious, right? But the answer is this incredible coordinated set of activities happening inside you this very second. We call them life processes, and they are the nonstop, bustling work that makes all the difference. So here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down what it even means to be alive. Then, we're going on a tour of what I like to call our biological city. We'll check out 4 essential departments: how it gets its fuel, how it generates power, its delivery system, and finally, how it takes out the trash. And you'll see it's all connected in this one amazing symphony. Okay, first stop, what are these essential jobs, really? Even when we're just sitting still, maybe watching this, our bodies are like a beehive of activity. They're constantly working on repair, on growth, on just staying alive. That constant hum of activity, that's life processes. We're going to focus on the big 4. First, you need fuel. That's nutrition. Then you've got to turn that fuel into usable power. We call that respiration. Next, you need a delivery service to get that power and other supplies where they need to go. That's transportation. And finally, you have to get rid of all the garbage. That's excretion. Let's start with fueling up our biological city. See, nutrition is all about how living things get the raw materials they need. It's not just about eating either. It's the whole shebang of taking in food and actually using it for energy and for building blocks. And in the living world, there are basically 2 main strategies for this. On one side, you have the ultimate self-sufficient life forms, autotrophs. Think of plants. They're like master chefs, cooking up their own food from just sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. Then you've got the rest of us, the heterotrophs. We get our energy the old-fashioned way, by eating other living things. So for us heterotrophs, this is our food processing plant. The whole journey kicks off in the mouth, where enzymes in your saliva immediately start breaking down starches. From there, food takes a trip down the esophagus to the stomach, where some serious acid and more enzymes get to work, especially on proteins. But believe it or not, the main event happens just after that. This is where the real magic happens. Your small intestine isn't just a smooth tube. No way. It's lined with millions of these tiny finger-like things called villi. Their whole job is to create a massive surface area for absorption. Get this, if you could flatten it all out, it would be about the size of a tennis court. All that space makes it incredibly good at soaking up all the good stuff from your food, right into your bloodstream. Okay, so our city has its fuel delivery. Now it's time to turn that fuel into power. And that's where respiration comes in. Now, this isn't just about breathing in and out. We're talking about the chemical process happening deep inside our cells that actually unlocks the energy that's stored in our food. And the whole point of this entire process is to make one single, incredibly important molecule, ATP. I want you to think of ATP as the actual cash of your cells. It's a universal energy currency that pays for literally everything your body does, from thinking a thought to flexing a muscle. So how do we make this cellular cash? Well, it all starts with glucose, which is basically sugar. First, that glucose gets broken down into a smaller molecule called pyruvate, right in the main fluid of the cell. From there, the path splits, and which way it goes depends entirely on one critical question. Is there any oxygen around? This table really lays it all out. If oxygen is available, we go down the path of aerobic respiration. This happens in the mitochondria, the cell's power plants, and man, is it efficient. It churns out a ton of ATP. But if there's no oxygen, the cell has to switch to plan B, anaerobic respiration. It's a quick and dirty solution, but look at the energy yield. It's way, way less. And here's where this connects directly to your life. Have you ever really pushed yourself doing a workout and you start to feel that burn? Or maybe later you get those sore cramps in your muscles. Well, that feeling, that is the direct result of anaerobic respiration in action. When you're working out that hard, your muscles are screaming for energy faster than your blood can deliver oxygen. So they switch to that backup plan, and the byproduct is lactic acid. That cramp you feel is literally your own biology at work. Pretty cool, right? All right, our city has fuel and it has power. What's next? It needs a delivery system. You can't have a city without roads, and you can't have a complex organism without a transportation network to move oxygen, nutrients, and all the waste products around. In us humans, our heart is the master pump of this super efficient system called double circulation. What that means is our blood makes two completely separate loops. One loop goes to the lungs to grab oxygen and ditch carbon dioxide. The second loop takes that fresh, oxygen-rich blood and delivers it to the rest of the body. And that separation, it is absolutely crucial for maintaining the high energy levels we need to live an active life. Now, the pipes for this whole system are the arteries and veins. Think of arteries as the major highways carrying blood away from the heart. They're under high pressure, so they have these thick, muscular walls to handle it. Veins are the lower pressure, local roads bringing blood back to the heart. Their walls are thinner, and they even have these cool one-way valves to make sure blood doesn't flow backward. Plants, of course, have their own amazing version of this with two special tissues. The xylem is kind of like a bundle of drinking straws, pulling water and minerals up from the roots in a one-way trip to the top. Then there's the phloem. It's more like a two-way elevator system, moving the food that's made in the leaves up or down to wherever the plant needs it most. And that brings us to the final and maybe one of the most important departments in our biological city, waste management. Look, every single one of these processes creates waste, and excretion is the absolutely vital job of getting rid of those toxic byproducts to keep the whole system from getting gummed up. So here's the main system in humans, and the absolute stars of the show are the kidneys. These two powerful organs are working 24/7, constantly filtering your entire volume of blood, pulling out waste products like urea and extra salt, and turning it all into urine. But if we zoom in, like way in, we find the real workhorses. Millions of microscopic filters called nephrons. You can think of each nephron as one tiny individual filtering station. And your kidneys are packed with about 1 million of them each, all filtering your blood, pulling back the stuff your body needs, like water and glucose, and sending the leftover junk on its way. It's an unbelievably precise operation. So what about plants? Well, they have their own really clever strategies. They basically breathe out waste gases through these tiny pores called stomata. They release extra water through a process called transpiration. And some of them even store solid waste in their leaves or bark, which they then just drop. It's a pretty tidy solution when you think about it. So we've taken a tour of our biological city. We've seen how it gets fuel, how it makes power, how it delivers everything, and how it cleans up the mess. But the most incredible thing, the thing that's really mind-blowing, is that none of these jobs happens in a vacuum. They are all woven together, a true symphony of life. The nutrition you take in provides the fuel for the respiration that makes the energy for the transportation system, which carries the oxygen and then hauls away the waste that the excretory system deals with. It's all one beautiful, delicate dance, which kind of leaves us with one last big thought. When you have all these intricate systems working together in perfect harmony, what happens when just one part of that symphony goes out of tune?